Hello, everyone. It's Amy, and welcome back for week 20 of Crafting for Pleasure. So, today we're going to play around with needle felting. I have no idea what the rules are. If you want to know the right way to do it and what the rules are, um, there are a lot of needle felting tutorials on YouTube, and that's where you would go to find out exactly how you should do something. Um, I went ahead and I found these at the Salvation Army, and I got them for they were 3.50, and I got them for $1.75 because it was half price. But the original price on this was $14. And so the thing is that sometimes things aren't that cheap. So keep your eyes open to see if you can find them a little cheaper to find out if you actually even like the project or not. And so, like, I got this and I played with it and I found out, you know what? It's fun. Like, I like doing it. But like I said, I don't follow the rules. I just brought this home and started playing with it. I grabbed a piece of felt, and just so that you know, I don't use real felt. I don't use wool felt. I don't use wool fibers. And the reason is because I don't have them. I have a few. And so I may someday pull those out and use them. But usually I'm just in a hurry and I just want to mess with whatever I have close at hand. And so I grab whatever I have. I do use felt from the craft store. It's acrylic felt, just like this. And this is, I'm sure it's acrylic. I don't know if it even tells you. It's 100% recycled, purified plastic bottles. Really? So this is made with, up to 100% of plastic bottles. I would have never thought of that. So, anyways, it's just plain old felt from the craft store felt. And I started this once and I had such a bad coughing fit. I'm hoping it doesn't start again. If it does, I think I'm going to stop you and I will come back with a part two. Because I was like almost halfway through when it started again. So, but anyways, and this one here is a little bit stiffer. And then I have this one, and it doesn't have a tag on it, but I believe it was even the same company when I got it. I got them at the same time, I believe. And this one is just a little bit softer. Again, it's not wool felt. It's just a piece of craft felt that you get at the craft store. And so you need something to back, something to attach your stuff to. Well, and I guess you don't, because like this little guy right here, he's just going to be fibers all felted together. So I guess you don't have to have a backing. For the things I've been doing, have been using a backing. The first thing I ever made with this was I grabbed out a piece of felt. And I've shown you this before. I don't remember what for, but I have this little art doll I started working on. And so she actually came from this piece of felting that I did. I got this piece of gold colored felt, and then I just grabbed some fibers. I had some yellow felt. Oh, I know, these were scraps that were on my table. And so I grabbed those, and then I grabbed some yarns. This yarn didn't felt very well. This did, and so did this. This one on the edge, I didn't even try and felt. I just sewed it on afterwards. So everything doesn't have to be felted down. But this blue yarn felted through. And what happens is the needles push the fibers from one of your pieces of fabric or yarn or whatever through the bottom piece to the back. And see, then you can see that there, which actually, that's even pretty. So, anyways, I made this, and then I thought, what am I going to do with it? I didn't know. And at the time, I was doing something with, oh, I know, I made this little yo-yo, and then I put beads all around it, like Sonia Steptoe shows you how to put beads on them. And I didn't like the hole in the top, but I wanted the gathers there like that, so I put a little sew-on gem on top. And then I thought, what am I going to do with it? And I thought, you know what? It looks like a little tam. My grandma used to make us tams when we were younger. We were not very nice kids. We used to throw them around like Frisbees. after she did all that work on them, but it's what it reminded me of. So I thought, you know what, I'll make an art doll. And so I got out just and this is not even anywhere near ready. It's more of a I needed a place to put things. And so I went ahead and did that. And but then I thought, ooh, this would work really well. Put it over the little shoulders here. It would work really well to make a little shawl for my art doll. And so that's what that will be when I eventually get around to it. Goodness knows when. I think this has been sitting around now for 6 months or a year. And that's the whole point. You don't have to make things for a reason. You just craft for the pleasure of it. That's what this whole series is about. Because crafting takes you away. And it just kind of lets your mind concentrate on what you're doing instead of thinking about the things in life you really don't want to think about at the time. Something you need a break from. This is the way to do it. You just play with things. And that's why I don't do the rules. I don't want it to be really strict. And some people like that. And that also can, take your mind off things. I don't like the strictness of it. I have always just liked to put things together and see how they work. So that's where I started. That was my first thing that I did. And then I went ahead this week. My daughter bought me this after I had got these, and it was fun. Then I wanted some more, so my daughter looked up and got me these. Now, this one came with these little leather, what do you call them? Anyways, thimbles. So to protect your fingers, and that's a really good idea because these are very, very sharp, and you're poking and holding things you're holding things down and poking with the needle very close to your fingers. And for the first time today, I actually did poke myself, and it was like, ooh. So, but I'm going to show you how the needles go into these containers. And the one that I got from the Dollar Tree, though, it did not have a container with it. Or a holder, I guess I should say. But what you do is you unscrew that from there. And whoever had these, this was a really good idea. This is like a stir straw from like stirring coffee. And that works really well to hold your sharp needles in if you don't have something else to put them in. And then you just put the needles through like that. And this one holds up to 6. So you can put in as many as you want. We'll just put 2 in there. And then you screw this back on. And so the more needles that are in there, kind of like the larger area you can do, and the more felting you can do all at one time until you get to the point where you're doing the small stuff, and then you just use less needles. So this is nice, like it's nice and easy to hold on to. If you don't have something like this and you get this, you can just hold on to the needle. That's what I did because I had these things put away. And so, like I've been playing around with the new one from the Dollar Tree, and I didn't have a holder, and it's still just as easy to do. So this one comes with some little bits of felt and instructions, which obviously I have not read. And the other thing that you do need, this is like a plastic type styrofoam. It's not styrofoam. So if you think you ever want to try this and you get some of this kind of packing when you get things delivered, keep pieces of it because I don't know where you would get this. Like I got this at a craft store, a recycle store, not a craft store, for 10 cents. And I picked up, I think, 3 of them. I didn't know what I was going to do with them. I had no idea that you use them for this, but it works really good. And again, it's a plastic type styrofoam. It's not regular. Regular styrofoam would just totally fall apart right away. So that just really doesn't work. And this one is getting really soft where I've been using it. So I'm not so sure how long it's going to last. But it does come with this little kit. So it gives you an idea anyways. And so I was playing right after I got this kit one morning because I don't really get any time hardly to craft anymore. This was sitting on my art desk and I just thought, I just want to do something just for a few minutes. And so I opened up the package and I just grabbed what was sitting on my table. There was a piece of red felt sitting on my table. And so I grabbed it. And it was something I had used to do alcohol inks with. And this was the piece that I was holding on to. And then I had, like I just folded a piece of felt in half, got it wet at the rolled part and just was using that to put alcohol inks on something. And so the part I was holding on to was clean and, just regular felt. So I grabbed that, cut off the colored part, and just started using that. And then I grabbed my Ots jar and started just grabbing stuff out of here to put on my felt. And so I did that, and then all of a sudden it started looking like a little bird. So I went ahead and I got a little piece of yellow felt, and I got this blue. The rest of this was on here. Um, so I added the eye, which is just a white yarn in a circle with a little bit of black yarn in the center, a little tiny triangle of yellow felt, again, just craft felt, and then some blue yarn, some white yarn. This is a piece of fabric. This is what made me think it looked like a bird. It looked like not really a horned owl anymore, but it kind of looked like the horn of birds that have horns. And so I thought that's really cute. And so this was out here and I thought it looked a little like messy hair. So, and that is just some strings that are in here somewhere that I pulled off of a piece of fabric. So, it's just like when you're trying to clean off the edges after you've ripped fabric. So that's what that is. And then there's just some more. This is the same. This was just some yarn that I had in here. And there's also was some light blue yarn in here, that piece of fabric. So I first just started with this was a square of red. And I just started like pushing stuff onto it. And then the next day or 2 days later, I came back and I was looking at it. And I thought this kind of looked a little bit like an owl. It was kind of rounded here, I guess. Instead of like totally square. So I thought, well, and so then I rounded it up because I saw somebody making some little crazy birds. And I thought, it kind of reminds me of that. So I thought I'm going to try it. And so I did. I added some more of that same thread there because there wasn't very much. Like this stuff was just on here very randomly. But this was actually like in a circle right there. So I cut the red around it. And I added the wings separately. Like that wasn't on there yet. And went and grabbed some yellow for the beak. So, but for some reason, it's like, I think they call it intuitive crafting. You start messing around with stuff and all of a sudden you see something in it. And I saw a bird. I'm not so sure why I did, but I thought that that's what it would be. And I think that he's turning out very cute. And so I was messing with it this morning, filling in the wing a little bit and filling in the belly a little bit. And so I thought I'm going to turn on the camera. I kind of was fighting that because I really just wanted to keep playing, but I also wanted to show you some of the things that were turning out kind of cool. So like when you're felting, the stuff pushes through the felt to the other side and it gets very fuzzy. And so I thought, I really like how that looks fuzzy. So I turned it over, and for the belly part, I started going the opposite way so that it would get fuzzy on the front. Now, the one thing you have to remember is think about whatever like I said, I grabbed that red fabric. I didn't know I was going to use it, but you have to think about the felt that you're using. You might want something that's kind of neutral or going with whatever you've got. But again, like I didn't know what I was going to make. So, I have to deal with the red. I'm not a red fan. That's actually why I was using it for the alcohol ink because, I didn't want to use my white felt because I like my white felt, but red is not my color. So, I was using it for something that then I would eventually throw it away and it wouldn't bother me. But, so I turned it over and started doing that because I wanted the fuzzies on the front, see if that would work. And it did, but then the fuzzies came out and the red came through with it. But it looks good. It kind of ties the red of the body in with the belly. And it's just very fuzzy out here, and I really like that. So I think that there might be a little bit too much fuzzies behind the beak. I don't think I want that up there. So, and I like the way that the hair just looks kind of all messy. And the wing, I went ahead and I even felted together the end of the yarn there, and it stayed together. So I'm going to glue this down, and because this does not felt through very well. And it did it stuck here and there, but it's not sticking right there. So I'm going to glue that down. And see, that's the thing. I don't have a problem with that. I could sew it down if I wanted to. The felting isn't going to felt it down, so I'm not going to try, it would push holes in it here and there to get it to go through. I think there's a couple of spots where it did come through and then it kind of held in place. But because we're not using any rules, we're going to do whatever we want. So we can glue it. We can sew it. We can do whatever we want. We can sew sequins on here. I thought about sewing a little bead for his eye, but then the black felting part did work. So anyways, it's just for fun. And so I just thought that I would show you a couple things. Like I wanted to show you about how that works with the, I'm going to use the bigger piece of foam here, but I think he's cute. And I am going to glue a piece on the back with a pin behind it, like I did with the little Bubby doll we did not that long ago. Because I think that I really like the brooches. I'm starting to think that they're so cute. You can put them on bags, you can put them on your coat, you can wear them, wherever. Oh, and then I had this out and I was looking for something else, and this was like up on my desk, and it's like, okay, this is like off of a wash mitt that I made little monsters out of here a while back. And it makes it'll make a nice stretchy bracelet. And I haven't done anything with it yet. It was just sitting up here. But I thought, you know what? Like, wouldn't he be cute? Wouldn't that be cute? I guess I should put him this way. But wouldn't that be cute? Like, I think that it's darling. So it would work well on there because this is big enough to actually hold him without him looking too out of proportion. But so I was playing with him, and we're going to mess with the felting here shortly. But I just did want to show you like my thought process and like how things just happen. And if you just let them happen. So I don't know what this is. This came in a bag of something that I got, and I really don't know what it is. And so it's like these little weights, and they're pinched onto thread, and then they're covered with this little fabric tube. So it's really the whole thing is quite heavy considering, like it's just a little thin thing. But so we had these here. This is what it looks like inside. And so I wanted him to have some feet, but I was thinking, if he's going to have feet and he's going to be a brooch or something, they have to have a little weight to them. And I thought, how would I thought, well, I could bead or whatever. And this was sitting in front of me, and I thought, that's kind of heavy. And it's got those little steel bits inside. I wonder. And so, what I did was I pulled one off. You can pull these off. So I pulled one off, and that gave me thread. And then I cut it right at the bottom. So I've got the thread that I'm going to sew to my body. And then this is going to be the weight that just holds it down. That's going to be his leg, basically. So that is what I'm going to do with him. You see. So I'm going to take these. And what I will more than likely do is glue them to his body. And then once the glue is dry, then I'll go and take a few stitches just to make sure. And then I'm going to glue a base on the back, so that will hold them even better. But so anyway, but they've got the weights to them, so they will like hang and dangle. And so that's what he'll kind of look like. He's got his little messy hair, and he's got his little horn, and I think he's cute. And so anyways, I thought that we would try doing a couple of things that as I was making him, I thought of. Like if we used brown yarn, then when it went through to the other side and got all fuzzy, would we be able to make it look like a little animal of some sort? And the thing is, whatever color, like this is what I did that golden color felt on. So that color does get into here, and the red felt got into here. So that does kind of poke in. Hopefully it won't get all over our white, but we'll find out. And we're just going to use these. without the container. So the short one works the best. And I just thought that we'd just like take some of this and just kind of like curl it around. And you can kind of like get it started. Just start with the end. Watch your fingers. When you start, poke slowly. Just go ahead and just like get it, because once you get it through in a few places, then it kind of stays where you have it. And then you can do more of the faster to get it pushed in better. So we're just going to get that started. And then see what it looks like. So see, it's got a little bit of hair there on the back. If it was a darker color, because this has got the light in it too, it would show up better. So we actually could, I think, make it look a little bit like a fuzzy, like a bear or something like that. We would go from this side and then we would have the fuzz on the other side. So we would be actually using the reverse side. Or maybe not. Maybe by the time that we have it, because we're still going to have to shape it like a bear in the front. So maybe we would like the bear in the front better. But we might have two choices. And then we could also always, like if we needed to add like the eyes or ears or something, if we get it all fuzzy on the other side and we like that side, you could always felt the eyes on the other side so that they were a little more distinguished and not just all fuzzy. So, but now that you've got it started and it's held down, now you can just go ahead and you just kind of poke it in there. And if you get it like, if your yarn is very thin, like this is a little bit fuzzy. So, but the white yarn or the blue yarn, like you can see it really on the blue yarn here, where you can see kind of where like the yarn goes. So, you kind of like, I learned that if you go a little bit sideways, it helps, because there were really distinguished lines here where I had put the yarn. So if you kind of go a little bit sideways after you get it in there, that kind of pulls your yarn back and forth to make that line disappear a little bit. And this fuzzy yarn right here seems to be doing okay. But if it is, like if you're seeing the swirls and you don't want to, you just add some more in the places where you need it. Just like if you were doing any, painting or anything else, where if you don't like it, just add to it. If you really don't like it, take it out or cover it up. That always works. Nothing has to work the first time around. And again, especially if you're moving a little faster like this, make sure you keep your hands out of the way. Sometimes, like if I want this to go, let's say up here, and I want it to kind of make a curve and come back, I'm going to kind of hold it there to push it down. But again, then if you're going to do that, make sure that you're just going slow. You're just pushing it through, because that's how earlier I stabbed myself. I was holding it down and I was doing this and boom, right in my finger. And I'll tell you, it does hurt. So, but let's see how the back of this looks. So see how that looks? It almost, it looks a little bit like a forest to me in wintertime when you look at it like standing up straight like that. So, and then if you just kind of fold it over, it's actually kind of neat. So that's another way that you could play with it. Again, I think that a darker, like solid darker brown, because in a lot of these areas where it looks like there's nothing, there really are fibers there, but they're just white fibers, so they're just not showing up. But the brown fibers do show up. So I'm just looking at it earlier when I was looking at the bird, and I'm thinking that I think I would like to really play around with what the back looks like and doing something to make it look like I want it to look on the back. So now these, this yarn right here, let's see, it had, I think it was, I don't know what it was. This one is, and I will use this one too. I believe I used this one maybe on the shawl. This is 79% acrylic, 20 mohair, and 1% nylon. And I think that this one was like just nylon. It was not, that one's got mohair in it, which I do believe mohair is like a felt. But this one is completely man-made fibers, this yarn. So you do not have to have actual felt in order to do this. You don't have to have wool to do this, I guess. Wool felt. And also, like if you look at your felt, or if you look at your yarns, like there's nothing that says that this yarn has to be used like this. So you could, because I was thinking of this when my blue was so like I could see the lines, that if I had maybe peeled it apart first, because your yarn, and actually you can do this when you're slow stitching and everything too. If you like a color of yarn, but you don't want to use the thickness of yarn, if it is the type that is wound like this, you can just take it apart, and now you can use that one piece to, I mean, obviously you would make a long piece, but you could use that one piece. You don't have to use the whole thickness of the yarn. But also I thought that this might help if I wanted to make it fuzzier. This might be easier and not so distinct like that blue one was, where it really, you could really see the lines so easily. And so we could just take this and we can add it on top. And because these pieces are very, I see, I just poked myself. I didn't actually poke into my finger, but I touched it. So these pieces are really kind of thin. So you have to go slower when you're doing something that's this thin, because you want to catch that thread and push it through. Like when you're just doing like this, you are catching it here and there, but first you want it to be where you want it. And then go ahead and go a little bit faster, because you can just go every so half inch or so and just kind of push it through and get it where you think you want it. And then, now that it's there, go ahead and push it. And you can, like, if you haven't got it pushed through yet, you can move it. Like that was a little closer to the center than I wanted it. And so there we go. And then I don't know what this is going to be. I mean, I know I was just kind of wanting to try and see if I could make it like maybe a bear on the other side. It's not going to work because my yarn's not, it's not brown enough. I should have got like just brown yarn, because the white from the felt also comes through. Just like on the bird here, when I was felting from the other side to making fuzzy, the red came through. So like, having this light color here, we've got that light color, plus we've got the white fibers that are coming through like this. So if I had brown, you would still see white in it, because those fibers would come through. But I just thought, since I saw these at the Dollar Tree, I didn't know they had them. Boy, they've got a lot of craft stuff. I really don't look at craft stuff much anymore, because I really have what I need. I mean, I didn't need this either, because I already have a nice set that my daughter bought me, and I have the set that I got at the Salvation Army. So I didn't need this, but I just wanted to try it and see if it was pretty much the same as the other. And it really is, except this needle doesn't work as well. And like I said, I'm not so sure. This one seems to, maybe it has more barbs or something on it, or maybe bigger barbs. So maybe it pushes things through better or something. I don't really know, because you definitely can feel it. Or it could just be that this is not a very good needle and that one is a better needle. There we go. So now we've got a little bit of that orange coming through. And I love this side. I think this side is so cool. I'm not so sure what I'm going to figure out to do with it, but I'll play around with this for probably a long time, and eventually I'll have what I want. So, but this one, because it's not doing what I thought it was going to do. This one is just more than likely going to be, I'm just going to make it into something. I can just keep doing this. I can slow stitch on it. I can make it like into a little bag. Just a little like coin purse even. Now, if I just wanted, because I didn't really hardly do anything here, I did want to show you that like this does work and it holds pretty well. Like you can get it apart if you really, really pull. You do have to make sure that you've got it worked in first. You know, like those, just a little bit from the start doesn't quite lock it in that well. And if I'm going to make this into like a little change purse or something, then I definitely want to make sure that I have it felted in really, really well before I do something like that. And then also if you glue something to the back of it, that also will catch all those little fibers that went through and even help hold it. That will even help hold it together better. Also, if I was going to make this into a change purse, because as you're doing this, just like slow stitching, it moves your felt and stuff. So if I wanted a change purse and I wanted to use something this size, then I think that we would need to cut it bigger and decide like how big you kind of want your size to be and kind of make whatever you're making that size. And then when you're done, you can cut it. And all of these little wavy sides, you can cut those off and get to a point where it's, and you can make it straight instead of all kind of wobbly and, you know, have your edges not be straight where you can't sew it together. But, you know, so see, that really does hold on there pretty well. Like I said, you can pull it off. And I didn't hardly do that much with this piece. And I don't want to pull it too hard and wreck my, whatchamacallit, you know, like, so I don't want to yank it off. But, so you see, you can pull it, but it's really stuck pretty good. And so, once you get it put together, you can use it for whatever you'd like to use it for. And it will stay together, even if it's not what it's, you know, the intended type of fabric to use. And some fabrics like do actually work. So you can try taking your little bits and putting them on there and see, does that have enough? This is just a regular cotton, so I don't know that it would work very well because it's not fuzzy, but I see it's actually falling apart. But now that piece right there, that is kind of stuck in there. So, but also I didn't know, like, I got a bunch of, what is this called? Fleece squares. I got a bunch of these at the store, at the Salvation Army. Somebody had cut them up for something and then got rid of them. So I got a bunch of different colors and everything. But I wonder if how this would work in comparison to felt. To me, I think that this would work. And again, be very careful with the needle. This is really I like this yarn. It makes it look like curly hair. Make a little curly haired teddy bear with this on the correct side. Or even might look good for mountains. Because it has such texture to it. Yeah, that works. It does. So I can pull it off, but partly because I hadn't done it that well yet. But yeah, it does work. So that's pretty cool. So that's it. Just play around and try it out. And, you know, if this is what you do for your craft and you're looking at this going, everything I have told people is totally wrong, you are probably right. But I just want to play with it. And the only thing that I have to say that the rule you have to watch is be careful not to poke yourself. And I would say keep this away. I wouldn't give this to small children. Even though they have the cute little pack you can get at the dollar store. I think I would make sure that whoever is doing this is old enough to really realize the danger that these needles can pose, because they are very, very sharp. Other than that, you know, if it sticks together, and if it doesn't stick together and you like where it's at, tack it down with a needle and thread. Glue it down with a little bit of fabric glue or even a little bit of regular glue. It's your thing. You can do with it whatever you want to, and nobody can tell you that you're wrong when it comes to creating. Creating is totally yours, and there may be a correct way to do something, but there's no wrong way to play. So just remember that. And there we go. So that is what I have been up to. And I hope if you get some of these, or if you have some and you play with them, I hope you have a good time. I think that he is really turning out cute. He's going to be a cute little brooch. So it was him that inspired me to come on this morning. I wanted to show you like the fuzzies, and I wanted to show you how like you can just play around. And then I was so unhappy with the red and thinking, man, I wish, because I thought he was cute, I wish it wasn't red. But the more you get into it, the more that you get it. You know, he didn't have quite enough hair, so I gave him a little bit more because you could really see the red through it. And you know, and I needed to add a little bit here, and then I wanted it fuzzy. So like you just keep playing and playing until it gets to where I like him. The only thing he needs is his legs added. And as far as I'm concerned, he's done. His legs, well, and then he needs to be backed with a pin. But I think that he's just really cute. So I hope that if you try this, that you have a good time. Remember, play around, have fun, and don't worry about what anybody says if they don't like what you're doing. So if you like it, that's fine. And if you don't like it, you just go over it. You change it. You do whatever. Or if you really, really don't like it and you really, really don't want it, throw it in the garbage. It doesn't matter. So we're doing it for the fun. So long as you had some enjoyment while you were playing with it, don't be frustrated if you don't like it and you just can't fix it. Don't make yourself frustrated. It's not supposed to be about that. So thank you very much for stopping by. I really do appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.